So this past weekend was a really big deal if you're a fan of the DCEU or just superhero movies in general, because Aquaman had a huge task in front of itself, competing not only with Bumblebee, but Mary Poppins Returns. So how did Aquaman do compared to the competition? Well, sit back, chillax, hit that subscribe button if you're not already a subscriber, because today we're going to talk about how Aquaman did in his opening weekend against the competition. So this past weekend was the moment of truth for Aquaman. It had a huge task in front of it. I don't think people really realized how much was riding on Aquaman this opening weekend. Not only did it have to try to overcome the failures of Justice League, but not only that, it had to compete against two huge movies in this opening weekend. Mary Poppins Returns and Bumblebee. Now, the Transformers movies aren't opening up as big as they used to, but a Transformers movie is still a very big movie to go up against. So when you have three huge blockbuster movies all opening up in the same weekend, it's very tough. So how did Aquaman actually do in his opening weekend? Well, Aquaman came in at number 1, beating both Mary Poppins and Bumblebee by a very huge margin, coming in at $67 million in its opening weekend. That is insane. This movie was projected between 55 and 60 million, so it made $7 million more than what it was originally tracking. So that's a good thing. So it looks like Aquaman actually came in and just dominated the expectations that people thought was going to have, which is a very, very big deal. Congratulations to Aquaman, not only coming out and getting $67 million. A lot of people might be like, oh, well, $67 million isn't a lot. Other superhero movies opened up with a bigger number. But other superhero movies didn't have to compete with two other big movie franchises opening up in the same week. That's the important thing, guys. That's what I want to address here. I want to really just hammer home that Aquaman opened up against two other really big properties and still managed to beat them very easily, I might add. $67 million. The closest one to Aquaman was Mary Poppins, coming in at a measly $22 million. Aquaman did over $40 million more than the number 2 film that came out this weekend, which was Mary Poppins Returns. Now I do want to say a couple things on Aquaman. Yes, $67 million. It's the lowest opening for a DCEU film, but that's not a bad thing. That is not a bad thing, because when you look at how much this movie has already made total worldwide, it is very much on pace to beat Justice League. Right now, Aquaman is sitting at $482 million worldwide. And the good news about this, guys, is there's no competition for weeks. There is nothing coming out that can dethrone Aquaman right now. So Aquaman is going to have the ability to constantly generate more money as the weeks go by, because there is no competition. There is no other big movies other than Bumblebee and Mary Poppins, which Aquaman has already beaten so far. So the movie can actually make tons of money. I do see this movie beating Ant-Man and the Wasp. Is probably going to end up beating Justice League. So when you look at the overall worldwide total, yes, it dominated this weekend, making $67 million. It doesn't have to make $100 million. It doesn't have to do what Man of Steel, Wonder Woman, and the other DCEU films done. It didn't even have to break Justice League's opening record. It's all about the overall total, because it came out, went against two giant franchises, beat both of them, and this movie is going to have legs for weeks. So this movie does have the potential to doing better than not only Ant-Man and the Wasp, but in its own DCEU, do better than Justice League and maybe even other movies in its own franchise. So I think Aquaman is sitting really good right now. I think everything is in its favor. Aquaman, DC, Warner Brothers, all the cards are in their favor. They released Aquaman at a perfect time. It already took out its strongest competitions. There's nothing in front of it, and I think, they're just heading toward the light at this point, and I think they really got everything in their basket. But I want to know what you guys think. How you feel about Aquaman? Did you see the movie already? Are you happy about its opening weekend? Do you think that it will possibly end up beating Justice League? Do you want to see Aquaman 2? Be sure to leave all those comments in the comment box below. Also, guys, if you're finding me for the very first time, be sure to click that subscribe button. Until next time, as always, I'm Robert Storms, and that's my opinion.